There we go. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. This is Mika. Here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And this is my witchy review. And I don't see anybody's here yet. I'm actually starting an hour later today. This has been a week. This has been a week. I have not been able to stay on schedule with just about anything that I thought I planned. This is just, I've been just discombobulated all week. But I feel like it's coming together now that the week is ending. Sometimes I just think it's just that energy. The energy of the new moon that came in, that energy of Scorpio. And I believe like this just wasn't a week for me. Whatever plans I had, it just wasn't gonna work. It just felt like I was just being co-opted. I just felt like whatever plans I had was just gonna be erased. Let me fix this. I keep looking off to the side. I gotta arrange this so I know what I'm doing. There we go. Yeah, so it's been a week. Boy, but I want to get into this review of The Witch's Way to Wealth, part two. So I went ahead and finished the rest, and I actually purchased a new book. I'm not going to review it today, but I'm just going to, do a quick flip through. It just came in from Amazon, and I'm late. That's the 2023 Grimoire of the Black Witch. I have been meaning to get this book. I don't even have an explanation because I was excited when I heard about this book, but it's just, I don't know, it took me a minute to get it. And I know we're at the end of 2023, but it's not too late in the year to get some knowledge, to get some information. So I do with that what I will. So I'm not chirping about the time frame. Sometimes things happen the way they need to happen. But I want to finish this book here talking about this, The Witch's Way to Wealth. This is a meaty book. Like, there is a lot going on in this book. She writes a lot. And one of the reasons I think it is the way it is, like, because she tends to go in sort of like a narration when she's talking. I get that type of style. That's the kind of style I personally like, so I'm okay with that. Give me a little story time. I call them going on tangents a lot of times here. So perfectly acceptable in my book. I I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed her approach. Every piece of this book was not something that was relevant to me. I'm going to be honest, but for the most part, I thought it was some good material here. So let me just tell you, she takes a very practical approach of talking about money, actually doing the practical things when it comes to money. So it's not all witchcraft and spells. There are some spells in here to generate money, to keep money, to manifest even more money. So that's definitely here. But by no means is this a book where it's just every chapter ends with a spell. There are activities at the end of a chapter, but you know what I'm saying? But it's a lot more practical approaches to how to go about savings. Kind of really the first part of the book is about getting your mind right on a concept and a conversation about money, and being willing to really tap into your subconscious thoughts about money, doing some shadow work as well. The rest of the book, she does get more into the witchcraft. She gets into astrology, understanding like your placements on your birth chart, on how that might affect money, using crystals for money, working with certain goddesses to bring manifest money as well. Money deities for everyday life. For instance, Lakshmi. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with that one. That's the Hindu goddess of wealth. She said good fortune, youth, and beauty, who has four arms, right? So working with her, Hermes slash Mercury, Kai Shen. This is a Chinese Taoist god. Yeah, she leaves it there. And she mentions some other ones as well in a different section. But yeah, I love in her chapter summary, this is later in the book, where she says, a dog eared, and she says, okay, so there's a chapter summary. In this one, don't raw dog your spells. don't raw dog your spells. If you want a peaceful home and an effective ritual, you need to lay down some protection and drum up your own personal energy. This keeps your home hidden from spiritual entities that might be drawn to the magic in your house while you really give your spells some oomph. That spoke to me because one of the things that I do and that I live by is keeping the energy in my home at a certain level. And that's from the mundane, the physical stuff to the magical stuff, the spiritual stuff as well. When I say mundane, clutter, junk in your house can really affect your mind. My house has been relatively a mess all week. I know that has added to me being off schedule wise with everything because I just can't seem to think straight. I'm in the midst of putting up Christmas stuff, taking other stuff still down, rearranging. I got a good amount done, but I had like the bins with the Christmas decorations still in the main common area. I have laundry that I needed to put away, real life everyday stuff. My makeup vanity is a mess. My makeup vanity is also a beauty altar. So that wasn't really helpful for my mindset. So I'm still getting myself ready, but in mess. Hi, gemstones. I'm still like, it's just a mess. So it's like, and the more I was in that space, in my space, it's a mess. Thank you. I love these. Somebody said they look red. They're actually like fuchsia, which is pink is my favorite color. So there you go. So I was like, I'm going all in. I feel like they're very holiday spirit too in their own way. So yeah, thank you. I love these glasses. I wanted like big frames, kind of cat eye. And I went online to this place. What is it called? I forgot what they're called. Anyway, if anybody's interested, I'll share a link. But I got is it on the thing here? Zenni, Zenni opticals. That's what it is. I'm looking at the case that came with it. Zenni opticals. So this is the Iris Apfel collection. If you want some big old glasses like this, they're prescription and everything. But anyway, yeah, I had a recent prescription from last year because I got my vision check. And yes, thank you. I love these glasses. It sounds like my life right now. Oh, it does? Okay, yeah, just this week. First of all, Scorpio brought in some crazy energy to me. I do have Scorpio placements. I'm a Scorpio rising. So I was never angry. Like, I don't feel like I was like, I'm not like angry or frustrated or like, I just feel like things are all over the place. I feel like I wake up each day with an idea of what I want to do, but none of this is happening. And I can't definitively explain what I did every day of this week. Like Monday, I know what I did, but after I got home, I was out all day. I know what that was. I don't know what else I've done. I know I worked on my hair. I had to retighten my locks, so that was a thing. But like outside of that, I cannot tell you. I can't even remember in the day. I noticed this yesterday. I was like, so time is just going by, and I don't even know what am I doing all day? But I feel tired, like I did so many things, but I can't tell you. I'm a list maker and a planner, so I like to plan things. I like to write things down. I haven't been in my planners this week because I feel like I've been pulled in so many different directions. I've been out of my routine. My routine is in the morning, I get a cup of coffee. I got a coffee cup warmer on my desk. It's really a candle warmer. And I put my coffee on there. I sit down and I pull out my planners and I plan for my day. That keeps me sane, right? Because I do different things throughout the day. I like to be able to plan. I have not really done that today. So when I haven't really been in my planners, and yet I've been home. It's just been a confusing time, and I'm surrounded by chaos. So I'm wrapping this up. This will not continue. Today is the day. And also low energy in a way too. So yeah, I'm somehow staying up late, but still waking up early. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I'm trying to pull it together. But in this section where she says, don't raw dog your spells, this woman is correct. Keep your beginner spell simple. I totally agree. Inspire yourself, get inspired. And she says this section, become a spice girl. Everyday kitchen spices carry spiritual properties. Even if all you do is imagine spices adding their spiritual properties to your food, that's enough to turn your regular cooking into kitchen witchcraft. I agree. It starts up here and in here, your heart. So anyway, this was the rest of the book is very interesting. It does seem like it takes a long time for her to get to the actual witchcraft. I was looking for it after a while. I was like, all right now. And she even acknowledges in the book, like, I'm sure you're wondering, where are the spells? Yeah, I was wondering, where are the spells? Am I still reading about these anecdotal stories? Like, I appreciate your stories, but girl, get to the witchcraft. In my opinion, it took a while, but she was giving solid practical examples and advice. So this is definitely a book I would add to your witchy library. You're going to want to invest some time reading this. I had to take it in sections because I'm discovering something about myself. Physical books take longer to read, even though I prefer, because I'm, old school, I prefer physical books. I really do. But I read faster on my Kindle. And I don't know what to do about that because most of me prefers like holding a book in my hand. But a Kindle, I'm zipping through, highlight, boom. I use the notes and everything, like I'm fine. For some reason, it takes me longer. And I don't know if maybe because I can control, I'm thinking it has to do with the settings on the Kindle, like I have a dark background. I make the writing, sometimes I might make it a little bit larger, sometimes a little small. Like, I don't know. My vision goes in and I don't know what to say. Anyway, but I just feel like I could go faster on a Kindle than I can with the actual physical book. So it took me longer than I would prefer. But I wanted to go over a section here where she's talking about taking inspired action daily. So she said, you cannot think your way to wealth. There's 5 things. Spells alone will not work. Thinking positive is not magic or manifestation. Crystals, readings, or healings cannot replace shadow work. And number 5, magical spiritual shortcuts do not exist. So I don't know what y'all think about these. So I'm going to just say, let's take them one by one. You cannot think your way to wealth. I agree. Because it requires action. So that's a true statement. You can't just think your way to being wealthy. Do you know how many people I know personally, people I talk to who say things like, oh, I had great ideas and I years later I saw somebody actually, come through with my idea. Like somebody had an invention in their head. They never actually did a prototype or anything like that, but they thought about it. And then somebody else actually had the same thought and they actually, made it a thing. They manifested it into reality. And they're wealthy. So I know that to be true. You can't think. You could be sitting up there. We all think about things, but you have to put some action behind it, right? Spells alone will not work. Okay. Yes, sort of, right? For those of us who do spells. If I do which is a great example, I think she kind of covers this a little bit. If you do a spell, let's say you want a better paying job, and you do a spell to get a better paying job. Well, if you just do the spell, that's great. Do you know what else you have to do? You have to maybe look for jobs, apply, go on interviews. You have to actually do some physical action. So she would be correct. So I always use this example. You want to meet someone, you want a partner, you want a romantic partner, and you're doing love spells, you're doing attraction work for yourself, you're doing glamours, you're doing all of this stuff, and you're just going out into the world, living your life, but you never actually interact with people you might find attractive. You don't like. You don't, fine. You don't want to do dating apps because I totally understand that. But when you're out and about, like you basically have a shield up around you. You don't let anyone in and you definitely aren't reaching out. A lot of us kind of have a severe look to us when we're out and about. It's like relax. I'm not saying smile all the time because the world doesn't need, I don't think the world deserves everybody smile. You know what? Because I don't like when I've had people say that to me, men. oh, you should smile. I'm over here in deep contemplation about something, just walking around. I'm not worried, but I'm not looking for somebody at the time. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just living my life. Don't tell me to smile. I'm on a cusp of thinking something out and sorting it, and you're coming over interrupting my thoughts, telling me to smile. But if you are looking to be approached or looking to be approachable, especially for those of us who are not going on a dating app, you kind of just relax your face muscles a little bit. That action can be helpful. Like a lot of us, we realize, like me here, I'm like this. I'll do, I'm squinting a little bit. And then it's like, I got to remember to, and just be neutral, not so tight in the face. Yeah, you're doing all this glamour. You have the attraction perfume on and all this stuff, but your face is squinched up and you look like don't talk to her. So yeah, spells alone will not work. All right, I'll go give her that. Thinking positive is not magic or manifestation. I totally agree. Actually, I think we probably all agree on that one. It can be part of it, but that's not the magic. That's over there with that good vibes only, just light and love, no other nuance type workings that people kind of do, which is great. We all have probably a stereotype of that type of, usually like a young woman, usually of European descent, usually dressed kind of hippie like, but nothing is cheap that she's actually wearing. It's usually female, right? It's telling you, just think positive. It's only about good vibes. We've all encountered, whether in person or online. In real life, I've actually encountered young women like that. I remember years ago, I was living in Tennessee, and I talked about going to meetup.com, and I found this group there, right? And because I wanted to be around people who did this. I didn't want to just be online. So I went online, found people, and just showed up. So one of their things, group meetings or whatever. And there was two different groups I went to. The first one, I forgot what she was, I don't even know what the group was about. But anyway, this young lady, she was very young. She could probably have been my if I had had a baby, like really, really young, like in my early teens, she could have been my kid. And she had the wispy bangs. She wasn't blonde. She was brunette, very thin. The clothes kind of draped off of her. And she was very, yeah, it's just about positive vibes. Like she talked like that. And I was just happy to be in a building, honestly. So I didn't have any disregard for her. But she taught me something. She taught me it was okay to express myself in however fashion. Because I ran into people who were kind of more like on we'll just say the darker aesthetic, like goth and stuff like that. They kind of dressed like that. That was their vibe. And I kind of appreciated the way she presented. Like I didn't feel the need to mock her or anything like that, because she was living where she was in that moment, and that was her truth, right? That was who she felt. She was being her authentic self, or at least that's what I accepted. So I didn't like that. I learned from her that witches can come in different varieties, and we don't all have to be present the same. And I was okay, and I'm glad I met her. I'm glad that she presented. Now we didn't necessarily. I didn't continue to meet with her, because she came across a little flaky in general, just like the meetings. I think she wanted to be more, but I don't think that she appreciated the people that did come, because the people that did come were women who were more in my age range, and some a couple older. A few of us who were older, so it wasn't as many young women, I think, as she wanted to come to these events. So yeah, I think about that for myself, organizing something in person here, like I did all those years ago here in the Phoenix area. And I think, what will I do if I get a bunch of younger people, like really, really younger people like early 20s, like late teens? I'll be like, because then I'm gonna feel like their mom. I don't want to be somebody's mom. I already have kids. I don't, not, no, no, no. I know some people kind of get off on that because I hear like in other magical traditions or spiritual systems, I hear people, oh, that's my godfather and my godmother, and they mean that in a very spiritual sense. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I'm not really looking to be in that role. Not because I think that's less than or I think I'm better to be, I don't. I'm already somebody's mom. I'm actually already somebody's actual godmother. Like, I'm good. Anyway, I don't know why I'm on this tangent. But yeah, thinking positive is not magic or manifestation. I agree. And crystals, readings, or healings cannot replace shadow work. I 100% agree with that. And dare I say, shadow work might not be something that is an activity, the entire process might not be something that you need to do alone. Some of us have things that when it comes up, you might be intimidated by how deep it runs, and you might need help to sort it all out. So you start to ask questions, and you may not even know how to begin answering those questions. So I would suggest maybe getting some help. What does help look like? It might be someone, an actual therapist. It might be someone who is someone you trust, an advisor of sorts. It could be family. It may be someone you have to employ as well. It may be a spiritual advisor as well, a coach or something like that. She's, by the way, like a spiritual coach. It may be someone of that caliber, or a manifesting coach. I forgot what she calls it, but yeah, she's some sort of like not a life coach, but y'all know what I mean. I don't know what she calls herself. Oh, the intuitive mindset coach. There you go. But yeah, you may need to do that, and I think that's fair. At points in my life, and shadow work is not a process. Healing is not something, it's just in a straight line and you're done. So I've been at points in my life where I've sought outside help. I've been in therapy on more than one occasion in my lifetime. It wasn't just once. I've had different iterations of going into therapy. I've had different iterations where I've had someone who has been kind of the person I'm going to as my coach, as my guide to help me through things. And at times I've worked specifically with a deity. As of late, I want to say like 2021, yeah, I worked more with a deity as my coach. That's as my guiding force. That would be Hecate. By the way, last night was Hecate night. I had a crazy, wonderful, very real experience. It was witnessed by others. I wasn't alone. So it wasn't something for up for interpretation. I had lit these candles, right? Taper candles. I have them in a pack. I use these. There's nothing different about these candles. I anoint them with the same oils I've always anointed them with, and I anointed them weeks ago, and I leave them on the altar. I like to stay ready, so when I put something on my altar, it's already prepared. Candles, things like that. Anyway, so it's Hecate night, and they were for Hecate, so I went to go light the candles. So both two taper candles, simple candles that have been sitting there. First, I lighted the first out of the two. One sizzled and then extinguished itself. And I was like, oh, okay. And we were in a ritual to, get my coven. And we were working with Hecate to give offerings and things like that and to speak some words. So we were at the very beginning of the ritual. So I light it again. I don't want to interrupt anybody. Light it again. And it's going, and I'm like, okay, back into, we were chanting. By the way, with ritual, when you're starting, you want to kind of, you can chant to raise energy, you can chant to sort of ground as well, or to kind of, as a group, come to some sort of like collective state. So you're ready to begin the ritual. We kind of use it for all of that. So we're chanting, and I hear the sizzle again. So I open my eyes, because I usually close my eyes. And I have like these prayer breeds one of my coven sisters gave me. And I look over and I see it went out again. And I was like, okay. So I light it again, try to get back into it. So we were starting the ritual. And I'm talking about the offerings, and I'm saying, okay, so, present your offering, if, whatever you choose it to be. And it sounded like a cat hissing this time. They heard it. The coven heard it. And I was like, what is happening? Like, it was loud. Candles typically don't sizzle and hiss like a firework. Like, that's not normal. Um, so right now there's just this one candle. And I'm like, okay. So that was a moment, and they was like, so somebody said, no, wait, what page are we on? Which page? And I say 3 or 4, and they're like, I don't see what you're reading. So we weren't on the same. They were looking at a different ritual than what I had pulled up. Long story short, I believe Hecate was saying, y'all need to get on the same page before y'all start talking and giving offerings, doing all this. Y'all not even on the same page. Okay, cool. So then I realized I kind of laughed about it. I light the candle again. And then I'm saying jokingly, like, what else is there? I guess this is what it is. Because I don't know what else she wanted from me. Why that candle start hissing again? I said, okay, let me shut up. Let me stop. I let it, and it went out, extinguished. So I left that one alone. I said, I don't know what, I'm just stay on this. I'm coming in gratitude and in reverence. Like, I don't want let me get more serious. Maybe I'm joking too much. So the candle it was 2 candles now. The other taper candle had been lit the entire time. So there was another moment where we were talking, and I believe she wanted our attention again, and she did. Long story short, that one, it had been burning all this time, and this starts hissing, and they heard that one again, and that led to something else. And I said, okay, let me tell you, working with this energy, specifically with, I don't know, for me, with Hecate for sure, or some people says Hecate. Hecate. It has been a very interesting journey. I am staunchly Gen X. Sarcasm, dark humor, satire, that's me. I'm on all day. Like, that's how I function, honestly. Working with a dark goddess is not something that is intimidating. Actually, I almost prefer it. I feel at home in darker themes, darker ideology. That doesn't scare me. It doesn't frighten me. I almost succumb to it. I feel connected. So those, things that might spook other people, I need that. I need that type of connection, is basically. So working with her has been inspiring. It's been empowering. That's the word we decided to use last night. Empowering. The way my magic, the witchcraft that I work is, and I feel like I'm working with her, and I have a deal, so to speak, with Hecate right now. So she should be delighted that I'm speaking of her in this manner. But yeah, she has played a big part in the shadow work that I've done. I want to say starting in like 2021. Yeah, she has helped guide me and lead me and show me things, come up to me in dreams, provide messaging, put certain things in my path that just had to be divinely done to help with my healing process. And I'm forever grateful for that. So yes, sometimes the person you might need to reach out to might be a deity instead of an actual physical person to help you along with your shadow work. And finally, magical and spiritual shortcuts do not exist. I totally agree. They don't. Magical spiritual shortcuts. I want to say shortcuts because doing the work, and when I say work, I don't want to deter anyone and make it seem like, oh, so it just can't. Sometimes things do just happen. Sometimes, but I feel like it's part of a bigger thing that's already been taking place, meaning you probably have already done some work ahead of time and you're just reaping the benefits of that previous work, or someone has done work for you and you're reaping the benefits versus you thinking you just have a shortcut. You know what I mean? And also usually how that looks is you find money on the ground. It's like it's significant, but it's not like this big manifesting thing, that you manifest it usually. It's usually like something on the path to something more. So you might have what appears to be a shortcut, or something that happened as if out of nowhere, when that's just not the case, because you've already been putting out the energy into the universe for this thing. So I kind of agree about the magical spiritual shortcuts do not exist. I understand the frame that she means that in. Another thing, I wanted to just read this. She says, so when I discovered that a necessary step of magic is to go forth from a spell and live like the spell already worked, I realized where the massive gap between manifestation and materialization had been in my life. I couldn't just think and feel like I was that bitch. I had to show up every day and take actions like I was that bitch. In other words, I needed inspired action. And I love this. I purposely highlighted that because I find this is a conversation also I have with people about feeling like a real witch and being a practicing witch. And it's like, you keep waiting to feel like a witch. You keep waiting until there's this moment where you really feel witchy. You really feel like you are an actual practicing witch, when you have to live your practice. You just have to be it. It's not a fake it till you make it, because you believe in everything you're doing every step of the way. But start doing the practical things, the practical magic. Start doing the everyday things, the enchanting your coffee, your water in the morning, bathing as a spiritual cleanse at the end of the day or beginning of the day, whatever you do. Your makeup, your jewelry, your routines, find the magic in it. Talk mirror work as you look in the mirror. Talk, connect. Use your mirror as a portal if need be. Start doing things like that. Setting up altars around your home. Actually visiting the altars in your home. Don't just set it up and forget it. Go walk by it. Say hey. Put a little something on a table or something like that occasionally as a little offering. Things like that. Start doing that. It doesn't have to be an everyday thing. Because maybe that doesn't make sense for you, but monthly check in or something like that. And then maybe you'll start feeling it, but it's about the practical steps. It's about taking a choice to do certain actions every day. And then it will be who you are. And then you will be the real witch, or in our case, that bitch. Another thing I wanted to say or read here. She says, I was trying to solve the problem from my conscious thoughts rather than trusting my intuition. Boy, did that stand out to me. So trusting your intuition. This was so true for me. And she goes into a whole story about it, but it made me think about something as it relates to money as well. When I was much, much younger, before I had children, and I had my daughter, I was 22. So this is a few years beforehand. So I'm like early college. And I remember thinking I was going to be a computer programmer. I was in school for that, by the way. I was going to be a computer programmer. I grew up in Jersey, South Jersey. So I was going to buy a house in probably Collingswood, New Jersey. I was going to buy some big old colonial or maybe a Victorian-esque style house with like multiple floors, a huge attic. I was seeing this in my mind's eye. I would like imagine this. And I would be there and I would live alone because I wasn't going to get married, and I was going to not have children. And I was going to be the professional auntie. That's not the word I use. I'll be like an aunt. I'll be, godmom. My friends would have kids and that was fine. I wouldn't, and I would have my money and have my career, and I figured I'd date, I'd have guys, but you wouldn't live in my house and I would not be married. Was my vision. So, some series of events happened that did not play out. And she talks about that when you're manifesting something and you're trying money wise or something like that, like basically a lifestyle, she talks about how like money, the energy, the currency of money kind of like low key tests you, like, oh, you sure this is what you want, right? Boom, let me throw this at you and see what happens. See how you, if this is what you really want, then you'll take like kind of door number one or door number two. If you really want this, you're going to take door number one, or you'll, in my situation, I really felt like that happened to me, and I took door number two. So, thus, my life began in all the things I claimed I didn't want. So, I did not move to Collingswood, New Jersey. I did not get that big old house and live alone. I did end up with a baby. I did end up getting married and then having another child. I ended up getting divorced and getting married again. And I eventually did live in a big house, but not in Collingswood, New Jersey. So yeah, so funny how that worked. And now I don't want to live in a big old Victorian house. So I don't want to revisit that. My children are adults, so I kind of feel I don't have like little kids anymore. And I really don't prefer to live alone. So yeah, but I was talking to my daughter about this last night. Do I wonder sometimes what would have worked out with door number one? I don't think I was supposed to stay in New Jersey. So that's one. And if I did, I'm almost a little afraid to know what would have happened if I stayed. I don't think it would have played out really ever the way I thought it was going to be. I would, whether I had kids or not, I wasn't supposed to stay there. That's what I really think. But yeah, with your conscious thoughts, use your intuition. My intuition came in full force many years later, and it told me to leave. But technically, before then, my intuition was telling me to get the F out of New Jersey, and I didn't listen. This time, I heard a voice, and I listened. And the impossible started happening for me to actually get out of New Jersey. And I did. And I still think that was the best decision. With my kids, at the time I was still actually legally married to this first man. I had to divorce him from another state. But yeah, crazy times. Anyway, but yes, trusting my intuition served me well. It took me a minute to get there, though, unfortunately. I wish I had learned that lesson a little sooner. So yeah, that's pretty much with this book. Let me see if there was anything else I dog or something else. She had talked about in like one of these later chapters, something called chaos addiction. Listen, sometimes people feel so uncomfortable with safety and peacefulness that they become addicted to behaviors that ensure they're never stable. People who experience trauma or developed anxiety disorders find chaos more predictable and safer than stability and success because they've never experienced either for an extended period of time. I think we all are familiar with people, if you're not one of these people yourself, listening to intuition can be so hard, but when it's loud, it's loud. Yeah, I know, right? When that, child, when it's loud, it's loud. And it's like, well, I really can't ignore this. I heard an actual physical voice that came from out of nowhere in my head. And till this day, I believe it was in my head. I was the only one that heard it, so I'm assuming, And I don't typically I don't hear voices like that. It comes to me because I think I was ignoring it. And it was like, oh, let me get your attention. Let me spook you. So I was like, oh, okay, let me. I'm sitting across from somebody and I'm hearing this statement being said to me, and I'm the only one that can hear it. That was weird. It sounded like a thought that wasn't my own, just popped in my head. But chaos addiction is so real. I am not someone who I think has this, but probably in my younger days, younger even 30s, probably a little bit. I kind of like, I think I almost wanted, and I don't want to say wanted because that's not the right word. Expected for there to be some drama or some chaos because that meant I wouldn't be bored. I didn't know that at the time. Years later over here, I understand that now. A lot of times I was in situations, work, relationships, friendships, where I was just bored. And I was just wanting, I didn't realize that that was boredom. So which was stable and normal, which was a nice thing, but I didn't always want that. And that's probably that fire energy coming out in me. I kind of want a little bit of cat, a little bit of drama, something popping off to get me a little excited. So yeah, I would probably I low key kind of would attract people that would bring that to me because it was something. I wasn't bored. I was never bored. Like drama addiction. Yeah, let yourself wait, because they've got this big thing here. It says like drama addiction. You definitely yourself out until you realize. Yeah, yeah. Sagittarius sun here. Yeah, like you get bored. Like, and it's not something I can't even tell you when or why, but you reach a point, situations, it could be people, a place, your work, something where I did not realize that's what it was for me. I was bored. Just this, and it wasn't people. It's not like they were boring. It was me. So I started finding people in situations that would be more challenging. This is not necessarily a bad thing, by the way, because I think we kind of need that, especially as fire signs. A project, something, you have to just be careful, obviously, that you are not taking on, like when it comes to people, you don't want to take on that kind of a challenge because that could be, they could drown out our fire. Yeah. So that chaos addiction, you got to be careful. If you're trying to manifest money, you have to be very careful with chaos addiction. It's almost bringing on to a tower moment for needed change. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you with that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And lemonade kisses. Hello. Yeah, it's definitely like bringing on your own personal tower moment, but it comes from, for some people, I always say like you got to be kind of frustrated, angry for change, but maybe for some of us it's more like just the humdrum boredom is like something's got to change. You just set the whole dang thing on fire. Yeah, maybe I'm the chaos. Maybe it's actually been me all along. And another thing she says, ditch the shame. So when manifesting money, for sure, whether you've been scammed out of money, lost money due to carelessness, or amassed a ton of debt, shame only keeps you distracted from taking action and finding solutions to create your greatest financial life yet. I totally agree with that. A lot of us, some of us maybe not, but I know over the years, one of the biggest shame things I had was that I used to think, well, maybe I really believed that I needed to budget my way out of debt. And it wasn't about that. Because I made choices, I took door number 2 and, I had started a family young and I got married. Your partner kind of matters in the financial world, like what you're doing financially with building wealth or not. So it doesn't matter how diligent I wanted to budget. It doesn't matter how I wanted to spend. If your partner is not doing that, if they're not going to be on that page with you, even if they say they are and they're really not, it doesn't matter how much you budget. So I was done with that situation. I moved on. I'm like a single mom with 2 kids. Life, it was tight. I didn't have a lot of extra money. I hated having to leave my children all day and go to work. So I changed my situation. So I waitressed basically, and I would work like 3 days in a row, double shifts, just so I could be home most of the week with them. And I was. So I was willing to do just change what work looked like. I'm doing that now. I'm that type of person. And really just trusting that I can hustle enough to make enough money for us to live off of. Without support, unfortunately, without support. So I did do that. I had a lot of shame because I used to think that I somehow screwed up money. I was I don't know. It's, and I remember at one point thinking I wasn't taught how to be financially educated. I don't know how to do this. And I felt like everybody else around me just knew things and I didn't. This was in my 20s, early 30s. And honestly, not until I was closer, like in my 40s, that I realized, girl, it was never you. First of all, people lie. People lie. People are in debt and they're not telling the whole truth. People swear to you they did everything by themselves, but they had a grandmom who left them an inheritance. It might not have been much, but you didn't have that at all. So that gave them a leg up where you were never going to get that leg up. People lie. People omit things and don't tell you, and you walk around, just because I would talk to people and I would see people like my age buying a house, and I'm like, how are you buying a house in your 20s? Like, how is this possible? I can't seem to make this happen. Anyway, yeah, people lie. This is short. They will look you dead in the face and tell you, yeah, I don't know, I just did everything, and they're not telling you that their dad gave them the money for the down payment and the closing. They're just not going to tell you that part. Meanwhile, you're thinking you just are a bum and can't save. Meanwhile, I'm a single mom busting my hump at sometimes working two jobs. Like, and I used to beat myself up about this. So that was the shame I had. I had shame around like my spending habits, wanting things, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't have a car payment. That's where I used to read like finance books on like finances, personal finance, and investing. I was someone who, I wanted more. I was ambitious, and I really wish I had somebody back then to kind of just talk to me, but I didn't know any better. But I had so much shame around like money and stuff like that. That would play itself out as I got older. And late 30s, definitely in my 40s, because I'm now trying to do more money focused work, magical work, and I'm hitting a brick wall and I'm not understanding why. Because I had a lot of shame. I had the mindset deep in the recesses of my mind that when things are good, eventually the rug's going to be pulled out from under you. I used to think like that. Yeah, that was a good way. Yeah, like I used to think like that. So I had this unintended, but I would have not known that. It was really deep. Like I really was blaming myself for like how everything was. And it was like, some of this is not my fault. Yes, I don't know all the answers, but I literally was going to bookstores buying books on personal finance. So I couldn't say I wasn't educated because I had educated myself. No one told me to. This is something I chose to do. Okay, so I can stop with that. Looking at my situation, I just didn't have enough money coming in. I wasn't getting support, getting help to take care of my kids. That was problem number two. I was doing it all on my own. I chose to take a different way because I put my kids first, time with my kids first. Doing so took some money away from my home. But I was willing to do that because they were little kids and they wanted their mom. So I wanted to be there as much as I could for my kids. So instead of pursuing other things, I put them first. And my son was like, I remember, I think he was like 3 years old. And the idea of him being at a daycare all day just really bothered me. I used to always say, why did I have kids just to put them in a daycare? No shame to anybody else about that, but that's how I felt. And I was in my 20s. I was like, I felt like, why do I have kids and then I'm putting them in daycare? Like, that just can't be normal to do that. So I used to constantly brainstorm ideas on how I could be more present with my kids and still make money since I was doing it all by myself. Trust me, I was trying to date too to see, hey, maybe I can get him a stepdad and we can do this, but none of those men I came across were people I could depend on. I was also dating men in my age range, so they're also in their 20s and they were not ready to do all that. Oh God. Oh, younger Mika, if I can go back to her and tell her it's okay. I had so much shame and guilt also left over from religion. So she has chapter 17 is practical magic for increasing your money. This was a very interesting chapter. Like when keeping it real goes wrong. I love how she like names the sections in the chapters. This is actually a really good book, and she writes in a very approachable way. definitely a good thing to get this book. But listen to this. She says, this is in a chapter summary for this. She says, now that you have money, it might be time for you to look into ways you can make money work for you. There are countless strategies for learning to invest and create passive income for yourself. It's up to you to become fluent in the language of personal finance. And if you so choose, find a trusted advisor. I love that she takes such a practical statement. It's not like you need to go do this, you need to do that, but it's more like, hey, if assuming all this stuff is working for you, hey, build your money, increase your money, and taking a practical approach. You've done the spell work, you've done all the things, money's coming in, do some practical stuff. So she's giving you real practical knowledge, but yes, there's some actual spell stuff in here too. Not a lot, not as much as you would expect. Witchcraft practices for increasing money. She has a change of course spell. It's kind of lengthy. Getting to know yourself. Oh, no, that's the one spell. Oh, I thought that was, oh, no, that was it. Then deities for increasing money. Hathor. She is one of the first goddesses, Hathor, goddess Hathor, that came to me, Egyptian fertility goddess of love, the sky, joy, the sun, birth, alcohol, and the harvest. She's often depicted as in a headdress of cow's horns. She's the first goddess that ever came to me. When I used to play World of Warcraft, I would name my character Goddess for Thor. It was a thing. And Freyr, Norse god of peace. Yeah, that's the one that she referenced. Crystals for shaking it up. Black obsidian, amethyst, black agate, bloodstone, goldstone for increasing money, stuff like that. So she talks about that, but all in all, a solid book. I'm glad I purchased this book. I wish that I had gotten it on Kindle because I think I would have had an easier time reading it. So let's talk about this. Now, this just came in. I barely could flip through it. 2023 Grimoire of the Black Witch. Yes, synchronicity. Very nice. So the 2023 Grimoire of the Black Witch is a 12 moon cycle magical self-help workbook. So the Ayalusa is a priestess of Oshun, PhD candidate of Afrofuturism and creatrix of the Black Witchcraft movement. So she is on YouTube. If you don't know let me get her on here. The author of this book, I kind of particularly dig her myself. So let's delve in a little bit. A magical textbook of self-discovery for Black women through hoodoo, root work, and conjure. That is this book. So I haven't read it yet. I just got it. So I will read it. It's a workbook and there's a lot of spaces in between. So I don't think it's going to be, I probably could do this in one sitting. I don't know if I should. I don't know how this is set up. But I am very pleased to have gotten this. I tried to download this book on Kindle Unlimited. It was $0, but it didn't show up for me on there. Like the formatting, basically it was unreadable. I don't know what, it had like images and then blank pages. So I don't know what happened. So there's like 100 and something pages. There's some blank pages in the back, I guess, for you to keep notes. Elixirs to regulate your mood. I'm just in the back of the book. I'm just going to flip through while I'm talking to y'all. So listen, rescue remedy for trauma of any kind. Oil of oregano to kill infection. Take it with water. Valerian root tea or capsules for sleep and relaxation. Bathe often. Water is a portal to the spirit realm. Agreed. You know, I was in one of my coven meetings. We were talking about, I'm working, I don't have the book around close, but the Ancestral Grimoire, we're working on that as a coven, right? So we're doing the work each month. And one of my, or several of my ancestors have come through and they're telling me to work more with water. And in the book, they have like questions to ask. To ask of your ancestors, or I forgot what the theme was, but one of the questions was something like, something to the effect of like, what do you do to, I don't know, I forgot even what the question is, but anyway, the answer was, let me just get to that, was, Water. I realized it was water. It was a connection to water. So it was like, how do you um, release things? Water. I take a shower. Like if I want to feel better, I will go take a shower. Physically, like let's say I'm stuck, I have a cold, I'm sick, I will go take a hot shower for the steam. Let's say I'm feeling bad, I'm getting close to the depression territory. I'm sad, I will go take a shower. I will cry in the shower. I will be in the shower. um let's say it's a good day and I want to start it off right, I'm going to go take a shower to start fresh. So the water element is a big part of, I realize, my moods and how to regulate myself. If something feels off internally, I will drink water. It is my stabilizer. This is a glass of water. If I'm trying to self-regulate in any capacity, I realize water is a key component in helping so that if I'm upset about something, I'll have some water. Tea technically counts because it is water, but yeah, water. This Scorpio season has me wanting to do much more water-based cleansing work and drinking so much more, right? And I'm feeling if I don't get enough water, which I have made the mistake this week, and that probably hasn't been helpful either with like thinking clearly. There are ramifications for me to deal with. But yeah, I water is very key right now. And I think those ancestors that was coming through, like, girl, you're gonna need these tools. Use it. So this is true. But the showering thing, and if you think about it, for those and unfortunately I've experienced with people who have gone through depressive states very close to me. And the first thing I notice is, do you know what's the first thing that goes? Bathing. Um, bathing. Bathing. And one thing I've noticed is once I've had my own stints, I didn't even know that's what it was. I just thought I was tired and I just didn't have energy. I just didn't feel like it. And I started to just feel like, what was the point? I realized that's what that they were going through, but I didn't know. But yeah, bathing, that water is so important. Obviously cleanliness and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, definitely. But there's something else that happens to you like warm water. You physically begin to sort of release a little bit. You're not as tense. Think about it, just the process, whether you're bathing in a bath as well, you unwind a little bit. It's good for self-regulating for sure. Study the occult so that your understanding of the spirits and magic can grow. Facts. Your body and your mind are the most powerful magical tools you ever created. Use them well. I love that. So far, yeah, there's some things in here, bits and bits of stuff here. Honor your dead, create the altar, fire, purple candles to honor Oya, the mother of Ugongun, air, lavender, incense or dried lavender flowers to burn, earth, amethyst or lepidolite stone, water, lavender, flowers, in a clear bowl of pure water. All civilized people worship their dead is the only way to remain sane on the journey of life. The first step in honoring your dearly departed is to set up your Ajuba Ogun ancestral altar. Okay. So there are some phrases and things like that I don't typically use, but that's okay. It's not because I just don't know. When I get into the world, but I guess I'll learn as I read it. But when I get into the world of ATRs, African traditional religions or spirituality, there's certain phrasings, words, names that I don't even really, my Americanized tongue doesn't even know if I can speak them correctly. I hate that, by the way. I don't love that. I feel like definitely I've been robbed of being able to pronounce these words. I don't like that. I don't. That is foreign. I hate that, actually. I hate that. I try to do something about it by learning and being open to messages. But I don't like that. I don't know. I feel like it's the what I'm stuck with from all those many years ago, but is still present in my life, of my ancestors being brought here, that I will never know. Like, I can read the words but it's not second nature to me, and I hate that a little bit. But anyway, I will get into this book, and like I said, it's pretty, like, you see what I'm saying, it's spaced out. I think this is something I'll be able to probably read rather quickly, and I will let you guys know at the end of 2023 about this book. But maybe she'll come out with something in 2024. I don't know, but I've heard positive things about this, so I can't wait to talk about it as much as I can with you guys and have another review. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I'm looking around because I could have sworn I had something else that I was going to talk about today, but I don't remember where or what. Other than, if you watch my planner lineup video, this is just for fun. Isn't this so witchy looking? It's a planner, and it reminds me of mine. So it was the Happy Planner. And check it. This is the inside cover, and then look, they have like this like peachy kind of tea stained paper. Oh my God. I was like, oh, they know what they're doing. The Happy Planner knows what they're doing. They know us witches like this sort of stuff. See what I mean? Like this tea stain looking paper. You see that? They know. They know. I'm convinced somebody knows. Yeah, right? You get what I'm saying, Prometheus 79. Yeah, it feels like, damn, like, I don't know. And sometimes I feel a little, I don't shy, because there is a desire to know. I don't know what I'll do with the knowledge on how it'll impact me, but it does feel like that's a road that it's right there for me. I just like, it looks like it's so foreign, and there's like no real guide to help me. So it's like, I'd go down the road, but it doesn't look very welcoming, because I can't read the signs. I don't know what anything is. I don't understand the words. Anyway, but you know what? I'll say this. It can be understood. It doesn't have to be that hard, because I see a lot of Europeans taking that road, and I'm like, how the hell y'all get? How did you get a language translate? Like, how are y'all on this road and I'm not on this road? That's how I feel sometimes. Like, how did y'all get down this path? Yet here I am over here still just looking at the entrance, and y'all already there. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I need to figure it out. Maybe I need to tap into my own European DNA, and whatever, they figured it out. How come I can't? I have something similar from Happy Planner. It says, reach for the stars. Yes. I wasn't even sure I was going to buy anything from the Happy Planner outside of the budget planner. I talk about that in the video because I really use that budget planner. That's how my witch's way to wealth. I am someone who has to write all those things down, and I'm actually getting more detail as of late with my budget planning. That's not something I could share because I have like legit amounts numbers. I don't think y'all need to know that. Like, kudos to the people who talk about budgeting and share things. I just don't feel comfortable sharing how, like, y'all know how much I spend, what I do, how much income I have coming in. I don't know if that really helps anybody other than just divulging information. I don't know if that's really helpful. And I don't just budget my own stuff. So anyway, yeah, so I'll leave that bit there. So anywho, I'm going to go ahead and go. I know today for me, I need to get this house together. I need to put up my laundry because this is first and foremost. I bought cute new things for the house. They need to be put where they're going to go. I'm totally pinkifying my bathroom with a touch of Christmas. So I bought some cute pink rugs. IKEA has them. They're really cute, and they were on sale if you were looking for something like that, bath rugs. So I have that for the bathroom. I put up a cute Christmas shower curtain, but it has a lot of pink element in it. Oh my God, it's adorable. I got it at TJ Maxx. Um, I bought a cute little white, like winter white bedspread. So I have that. I need to put my Christmas pillows on there, U2 gemstones. And I need to go to IKEA. And what was I needed to get from IKEA? I know some rechargeable batteries. I have the charger thing, but I bought like all these cute candles and stuff like that. And I need to be able to charge those batteries up instead of just buying batteries and not being able to recharge them. That's not economical. This was such a lovely stream and my first introduction to your channel. Oh, thank you, Upward Bow. And thank you and everyone here for being so welcoming. I hope everyone's Friday. And Mars. Oh, I didn't. Kazami is beautiful. I don't know what that is that you're saying, but I appreciate the sentiment and thank you. No, I don't know what that is. Kazami. I don't know. It's beautiful. Okay. I will take that. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm glad you found my channel. Thank you. So I'm going to go on with my Friday and I'm going to write as well. And everybody have a good day. All right. Bye.